All Elite with Keeks. Today we're gonna go out over the All Out review recap of yesterday. It was a great wrestling weekend. Things happened. We're gonna get into the festivities. Before we get into that, I want to introduce my guest I have today. Her name is Miss Danny. You can find her on Twitter. The @name is on her handle right here. She is starting blackgirlwrestling.com. Just check her out, follow her, support her. We got to support our babies, our up and comers, our Black women in content. So I am happy to have her on the show. Miss Danny, you want to talk about yourself? Let them know who you are before we, the chat start booming.
Yeah. So hey y'all, like she said, my name is Danny. Welcome. I'm really excited to be on here. And a little nervy because, like Keeks just said, I just started my my brand Black Girl Wrestling because I felt like there was a lot of weirdos in wrestling media. So just trying to make it a little bit more inclusive and normal. So yeah.
Yeah, so this is our first time, so take it easy on her. We all are not perfect here in this content. Most of us do it out of love of wrestling. So we just feel like home. You can relax. You don't have to be perfect, tip top. It ain't none of that here. They know to treat my guests with respect up in here because they know they would get cussed out via live. Okay. Treat my guests. Yes, treat her like you want to be treated. Don't be too hard on her in the comments or whatever opinion that she has, okay? We don't do that on this show. I know some people let some people say whatever to their guests, but we don't do that here, okay? Y'all know better. Act like your mama taught you something, okay? We don't do that on here. So treat Danny with some respect, okay? Hey, Malik. Hey, Sean. Yeah, they know I'll turn up in a minute. All right, so we're going to get into All Out. We're going to start out with the pre-show. The pre-show started, it popped out with the over-budget Battle Royal. It was some interesting people in this Battle Royal. We welcome back Sexy, Scorpio Sky.
I'm screaming.
We see Sean Spears up in there, the Mongol Embassy, Best Friends, Serpentico, Commander. Surprisingly, it was Adam Page in there. A little bit of everybody. Tony Nese. Not Dante, but no, the brother was in there. The Darius. Darius was in there. Also the Andrade.
Yeah.
We saw a couple of people. It was a good amount of people in there. Good amount of people in there. So Battle Royal was happening. It was a little bit of in-ring with that Battle Royal. Aussie Open was in there. I forgot about Aussie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love them too. They was in there. It ended with Adam Page. And also Brian Cage. And, they have history with each other. They faced each other before. So they was going to deliver. And then, of course, Hangman Adam Page took the win. And he donated the donation to, of course, Chicago Public Education Fund. If you don't know the background of Adam Page, he was probably one of the most beloved teachers before he went full-time with wrestling. So it made sense. Adam Page is the man of the people. So, great opener. I saw people complaining that he wasn't on the main card. Give Adam Page a break. He was in All In. He probably wanted to do this. So, let them be happy. Don't start. Not right now. Not right now, Davis. Don't start. So, what did you think about the Battle Royal?
I gotta say the Battle Royal itself didn't really do much for me. I got up when Hangman came because I had, no idea, no inkling that was gonna happen, and especially not in Chicago. And so It was good to see the kind of reaction that he got, there, especially considering everything that's going on. But other than that, nobody in this really, really does it for me. I didn't think that the action was all that great, but I do think that the right decision was made in having Hangman win. And I think that it kind of started that because what we're seeing now is Hangman starting to pick up some wins, but we've seen the rest of the elite start to lose. So I'm really interested to see where that's going to go. So it was good to see him on this card. We've been missing him. But the rest of the Battle Royal, left a little bit to be desired for me.
That's okay. It caught me off guard when he was in the Battle Royal. Now I can say that some of the Battle Royals are hit and miss. I just looked at this one as an entertaining one. I didn't think too far of it, but I did see that they probably started to plant seeds with certain encounters in the Battle Royal, especially with Sean Spears, especially with Scorpio Sky, a little bit of Brian Cage too. He has some interactions going on, so they probably gonna be picking up something off of those. So I just went on there
because they got extra time on Collision now, so we're gonna see some different stuff.
Yes, yeah, definitely, most definitely. And then also on the we're gonna skip the next match that happened because that's part of women business. So, but next up we had the AEW World Trios Championship. It was the Acclaim and Daddy Ass versus with Dennis Rodman, of course, and then of course you had Jeff Jarrett, Statham, and Lethal. Another fun entertainment match on the pre-show. It made sense why it was on the pre-show. I didn't expect it to go on the main card. So we had some entertainment going on. Dennis Rodman, his background, he was in WCW. He was champion. So it's familiar with him with the wrestling business. What did you think of this entertainment type match?
I love the Acclaimed. And I know people on Twitter like to talk crazy, like to be reckless. I think it's fun. I think it's upbeat. I think it switches it up, So I'm fine with seeing them on TV, and I prefer when they're on the pre-show because, I don't think that the action is all that great, but I think it's a fun gimmick. I think they're entertaining. So, and I feel like Jeff Jarrett and his group, like, that's all they really do is, like, silly over the top. So I felt like it was a good match. Whenever Satnam Singh's in the ring, that's always funny to me because he cannot move. So that, I had my little fun. I didn't think anybody was looking for like a 5-star classic, but I have fun.
Right. Jeff Jarrett is always fun, so I was gonna expect some form of entertainment off of him anyway. So yeah, that was out of the way. So we're gonna start getting into the main card because, like I said, one of the pre cards was in women business, which we will get into. You already know how the show goes, okay? So popping off the opener, and like I jokingly said on Twitter, and I saw a lot of it too, like, okay, we better get these non-interesting cards out the way. No shade, but it was ROH for the ROH World Tag Team Championship. Better Than You, Baby, Adam Cole, and MJF versus Dark Order. I do enjoy what's his name? John Silver. I do enjoy him wrestling. He can really, really go. To be his height and stuff like that, he could really go. And it was a little bit of interesting storytelling between MJF and Adam Cole in that match too. It of course they was getting along, but the seeds are still being planted. MJF had a bump and he had to go back, and it has Adam Cole basically doing most of the work in this match. This is probably the second time Adam Cole had to do most of the work in the match, and he's still not seeing it. So what did you think of this match, of this opener to All Out?
First, I gotta say, I need to talk about Alex Reynolds' tan. Respectfully, ain't no reason that man should be the same shade as me ever. And so that was the first thing that I noticed. As soon as he came out, I said, now, who is that? And I genuinely had to look up a picture of him before and after. So I had to get that out the way. Because I know everybody likes to look a little bit more tan for their moment. But that was a little bit of a lot. But other than that, I mean, I thought this match was a good way to start the show. Adam Cole and MJF are super over, so they were always going to get a great reaction. I'm not gonna lie. I was one of the people on Twitter talking about, I do not want to see the Dark Order. Respectfully, I appreciate them for what they are. I do not think that they in 2023 have any business being on a pay-per-view. I'm not I'm not writing a check to see the Dark Order, respectfully. But with that being said, I think the match was fine. I mean, MJF is really good at like crowd, working the crowd, and so I think he really did a lot of that throughout the course of this match. Especially him leaving and coming back with the neck injury. And now I'm really excited to see him milk this neck injury in the same way that Roddy Strong is, so we can just see the two whiniest people possible, compete for Adam Cole's attention. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be interesting because I definitely caught that too. I was like, oh, a neck injury. Roger Strong has one too. So which one you going to care about more?
And it's
But no,
been weeks. It's been weeks.
Yeah.
And Roderick's starting to talk about, you don't care about me. You don't care. So I'm excited to see Adam Cole, show up on Dynamite or on Collision talking about, I really miss MJF. His neck injury is so serious. Because Roderick's talking about lose it.
So, like I said, Dark Order is good. They work really well when they in ROH. So if I see them more on ROH than you see them on AEW, Dynamite or Collision, or I'm pretty sure they'll be on Rampage because of ROH. I'm fine with that. They don't have to be in Dynamite or a Collision. I see them in ROH, and that's definitely not a downgrade or no shade. They just fit better in ROH prior to the match that they had at the ROH pay-per-view. So that's why I'm like, they fit better at ROH. So utilize them in ROH.
I think they work better. It's hard for me to take them seriously, and so I think them even coming into this match, it was just a little bit of like, it was just kind of strange. They won that battle royal, and I was like, okay, but why are they mad? And so I wasn't all that really excited for this match coming into it, but like I said, I love seeing MJF and Adam Cole, team up. I think that they, it's just fan service, but I'm in it every single time. So, Dark Order, no shade, but yeah, I don't need to see you on the main cards, respectfully.
Yeah, so prior to that match, when Adam Cole and MJF won, MJF already took off to head back to the stage, and then of course Samoa Joe music comes out. Samoa Joe did the spot that happened. It was a callback to WWE when he pushed MJF to the side, and he smirked when he did it and walked all the way to the ring. And then of course that caused a whole encounter between MJF and Samoa Joe. They probably hinting something right there. So it wouldn't surprise me if they have a MJF versus Samoa Joe for the AEW Championship. Samoa 2 belts. You never know. So,
I'm not against it.
Right, at all. I'm not. So I could possibly see a Samoa Joe versus MJF. Who knows? But that match that was next was Samoa Joe versus Shane Taylor. That was a shocking to me because I didn't expect Shane Taylor to be on an all-out pay-per-view, but it makes sense because he is signed, but he's freelance, so he's mostly on ROH. So you had a former TV champion versus Samoa Joe. I want to say Shane Taylor did a great job for pay-per-view. You could tell it was nerves there a little bit, but he did really, really well. So kudos to Shane Taylor. He did an amazing job. Hopefully he does get the gold at ROH soon. Samoa Joe, ROH run, his TV champion run, him being in AEW has been great. People was trying to say that he ain't him no more, but he's definitely Samoa Joe that I know. So great match. What did you think about the ROH TV championship match?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit hesitant just because it felt like it kind of came out of nowhere, but honestly, you could say that about a lot of matches on this show, but they all ended up delivering, and we talk about this like time and time again, like, okay, if the build doesn't give, the show always will. AEW really does not miss on pay-per-views, especially not since the pandemic, and so this was another match where I was like, all right, I'm a trust and believe that y'all got this, even though I had only really seen Shane Taylor on ROH. And so this felt like kind of a little bit of a jump, just for him character-wise and everything. But I really enjoyed it. To your point, I think Samoa Joe, especially when he first came, everybody was talking about, whether or not he could still do this at this level. I've really enjoyed his character work. I think his work with CM Punk, even last week, just kind of elevated him like back to that status again. He just comes across like a beast, regardless of where he is on the card. Like he is just somebody to be feared, And I really felt like throughout the course of this match, like even more so, like that just continued, So shout out to Shane Taylor. Great to see him in that spot. I'm rooting for everybody black, so I'm always glad to see that. Yeah, it felt a little bit random, but I thoroughly enjoyed it for sure.
Right. So if you didn't know who Shane Taylor was, now you knew him then. Like,
exactly.
Well, I said that shit wrong. If you ain't know him then, you know him now.
There you go. Yeah.
All the way wrong. But yeah, that is definitely great match, great debut to Shane Taylor. I seen shit on the Twitter, so I'm glad that it kind of changed once the match happened. So kudos to him. I'm glad he had a great match. And then after that, we had the TNT Championship match. It was Luchasaurus, the real TNT champion, my boy, Peepers Gang, Christian, versus Darby Allin. Everybody apologize to Luchasaurus right now. Y'all apologize to Luchasaurus.
And you know what? I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go first. I apologize to Luchasaurus. That's why I said let me get that out the way. I was a hater, but you go ahead. My bad, but I gotta be honest.
Apologize. Davis apologized. I told him he had to too. Y'all apologize. Graham apologize.
No.
I knew he was gonna say that. Y'all apologize to Luchasaurus. First of all, poor Darby Allin. Rest in peace to Darby Allin. Luchasaurus was just slanging that man like some bag of ice, like ragdoll. Poor him. He didn't stand a chance. He was.
That's the only way to describe it. Like, yeah, Darby Allin just get ragdoll week after week. And he was on Dynamite, then he was on All In, and then he was on, I feel like he wrestles dang near every show that they have. And all that happens to him is he just gets thrown around. And
he loves it.
I'm genuinely to the point, though, I get nervous watching Darby Allin perform because I'm like, all right, you get one body, dude. And I know we talk about it was a work, like his back and his spine, but I'm like, there's no way that can completely be a work because you cannot be taking the bumps that you're taking on a week-to-week basis and be okay, So I love watching him work, but I always get nervous. I'm like, where's your mom?
Right, somebody got to step in. Like, you do it too much. You're scaring me every time I see this. I'm trying to support you and you scaring me. I know the mother in me would be scared every time I see him. Like, can you just do something else? Why do you have to have them do that to you? And he just gets up like, he's just like, it's okay. I'm fine. Just another day.
Well, I mean, I knew about him when you remember a little while ago, he got hit by that car and then wrestled on Dynamite. And
yeah.
I was like, that story came out. I was like, what is wrong with you? In the highest way possible. Like, you're just built different. And I respect that because clearly most people would not be able to do that. But most people shouldn't, Right. I don't know. I just get nervous.
Well, good thing because he already said that he don't want to wrestle forever. He wants to be a director. So maybe he'll do this for another 5 years and he's done, or he's just like, okay, I'm good now, guys. I just want to do my dream. That's to be a horror film director. Okay. So
why don't you have any hope in Darby Allin's movie career?
Right. Oh no, I do.
I don't
just like
either.
I do. Like, horror films is not really hard to do, and we know it's not the most dominant genre of movies, so he can succeed. Like, I could see him making like something for Netflix or something.
I don't know. I think I love Darby Allin, but I'll be the first to be like, I don't entirely get it. Like, I don't really know. I think he's a great performer. The character doesn't always feel like a character. Like, sometimes I look at him and I'm just like, you're just not the same kind of human being that I am. So I think it'd be really interesting to see creatively what he would do like in a movie. But no, he definitely ain't gonna be wrestling till he Christian's age. That's for sure.
Right. And I love Darby. I hate hearing him talk because he say the same shit over and over.
Mm-hmm.
I am different. I didn't do this. I didn't have that. We get it. You've been poor.
I'm like, okay, girl.
We get it, bro. Like, yeah, you was poor. You was sleeping from car to car. What else he be saying? I
grew up in Seattle.
Right, like I grew up in Seattle.
I was trained by Buddy Wayne.
I slept in my car. Nobody likes me.
It really makes you wonder. It's like, all right, what else interesting has happened in your life? Because if you keep going back to the same 3 things, like I don't think that I'm that interesting as a person, but I think I could give you maybe 5 instead of 3. Darby Allin is the same promo every week, every time, and so I'm just like, no, it's okay. I want to see you wrestle, but we could put the microphone down. You know,
right? We get it. You was poor. We get it. Yay! Whoop-de-doo. The Rock had $7. We get it. And my tour. No, that's to the last. We get into the matches. We'll get to that. After that, we had the no disqualification strap match. It was Absolute Ricky Starks versus the American Dragon Bryan Danielson. He wrestled for Ricky Steamboat. I did.
Yeah.
Meat. No, that was a
pause. Huh? The meat match.
Oh, what?
Miro Hobbs.
Oh yeah, I did. My bad. We had the meat match. It was Powerhouse Hobbs versus Miro. No title match. Big meaty man, meaty match. Tribute. Big E legacy lives forever. So this was a great big man match. I did enjoy this big man match. Miro ended up taking the win. But Powerhouse Hobbs ended up beating his ass afterwards, too. So it didn't make Hobbs look weak. Of course, they shook hands, and he attacked him. And then Lana Dirty Feet came out of nowhere, came in the ring. And Miro was just like, you in grown folks' business. You in men's business. He didn't get it. What did you think of the meaty man match?
Well, first off, I loved the match. It took him a second to get started. Mm-hmm. So I was nervous at the beginning because, sometimes with matches that are just like that style, it's so dependent on the crowd. Because if people aren't into it, then it's not going to work, regardless of the kind of, regardless of the quality of work that you're doing. And so I was really, just happy to see that everybody was as bought into this match as I was. I She's got her tough, raw. Yeah, I thought Hobbs looked great in this match, and so that was good too. I'm not excited about him taking another loss because I don't really know what we're doing with him. And so I don't think that it ended up making him look weak because he had a great showing, but I'm definitely worried about him and his character. Like, okay, what do you do now? Because this match felt like another one that didn't really have a reason behind it. Hobbs was like, you're next to my book. Okay. But I'm just a little bit worried about Hobbs because I want to see him succeed. And I felt like he's had all this momentum and, then it's gone away. And so, and then Miro, always been like a favorite of mine. I don't understand when old girl came out at the end, he was like, she's not real. What do you mean? I just feel like, have we been hinting at that? Did I miss it? Like, what are we talking about?
I know the writer's block.
Like, yeah, the strike.
Yeah, the strike happened, and that's why we know. That's why we know Miro is back, and Lana's like, "Damn, I need to too," because it reflects
I guess I gotta
reality.
Do something,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. So that angle just confused me.
If I could, I think what they were getting over is what Andre is saying in the in the comment right here, denouncing his wife in the promos. Like he was like, and he mentioned last night he tweeted with a picture of her, like, "I've forsaken you." Like, he wasn't expecting for her to pop up on him like, "Oh, you like when a nigga gets sunned by his wife," type shit. Like, she was, "Oh, okay, that shit you was talking, I'm still here to help you, but what about that shit you was talking?" And so he was like,
Dang,
"Oh,
like some Shakespeare
damn," you
shit.
feel me? So again, I don't know if they're gonna turn him back into a cut. So I don't know. I don't know.
Hmm. Interesting. That's interesting because they did say in the scrum that she's not there like full time, but she's making a few appearances. So that's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. I missed all of that because I sure enough was just sitting up there like, huh?
Yeah, I was confused. I'm like, first of all, what threw me out was she took the shoes off, and I'm like, what is?
I was like, is she gonna wrestle?
Why she took her shoes
I don't know why
off
she was barefoot. That I don't think there is an explanation for it. I know that's in the budget. I know we got shoes in the budget, especially now that we ain't got to pay that man from Chicago. But I think the match overall I think it over delivered. I think both of them are extremely talented. You know, but I don't know who each of their next feud is gonna be, which I wish I would have had some more clarity. You know, just storyline wise for both of them. But I loved this match for sure.
He's on a journey where nothing matters, not his wife, not his God, only he is there for himself. That's interesting.
He's so real. I'm on that journey too.
That sounds like some Game of Thrones type shit. So that's very interesting. After that match, then it was the no disqualification strap match. It was Absolute Ricky Starks versus the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, and of course, Ricky Steamboat, the Legend of Hall of Famer, was part of commentary for this match. Great to see Bryan Danielson. I gave Ricky Starks a hard time on this show and also on the timeline, but this match is what he needed, and this opponent was what he needed as well. We know that he was supposed to main event All Out with that man, and then that happened, and he's terminated, so he didn't main event. So, but they made it up with Bryan Danielson, so it shows that they do care about Ricky Starks and they do want him to elevate. So, this was a great match, a strap match. Bryan Danielson's done strap matches all the time. Like he said in his promo, the last person that he did it with, he loved. Rest in peace to Bray Wyatt. Great match. Danielson was beating his ass, though. He was beating his ass. They were beating each other's ass. It was so much blood. It was so much whipping going on. I thought I was watching Roots for a second. I ain't know.
Well, I had some moments where I was like, I don't love this visual. But, you know, I love the match too. I definitely think I don't think that man, respectfully, I keep saying that, but I'm trying to be respectful, could have given Ricky Starks the same caliber of match. You know, very few people can. Bryan Danielson is, you know, next level. Even with one arm, because you could clearly tell that he was not 100%, but he's just built all the way different, you know. And so I thought that this match was fantastic. I thought it definitely showed, you know, Ricky Starks in a better light, because I'm kind of with you. Especially as of recently, you know, I've liked his character work, but his in-ring work has not been to the same caliber. And so It was good to see him in a high quality match, in a fast paced, you know, intense match that I don't really feel like we've seen since he was in tag team action, you know.
Right.
What did you think? What did you think?
That's the same thing that I was saying. Like, you know, people, the shows that I've been on, and also the discourse I see in timeline, like Ricky he has a star package. He's a star, but it was always the in-ring that didn't have me connect with him, because it was slow paced and it was the same sequences. Like, it wasn't fast paced. You have to do more than a spear. Like, most of the stuff was just basically entertainment type wrestling instead of AEW type wrestling. You know, we're all about the wrestling. Like, you can give good promos, all of that. The segments is straight, it's good. But if the in-ring is not there, you're going to lose us. So he definitely needed this match. This match is what needed him. He had to beat Lyric said he had to beat the in-ring allegations, because he wasn't beating it at first. But, you know, this is step one. We got to see. I got to see one more. I just gotta see one more, like without the
I
strap.
believe.
Like now, give me a
I believe.
non-gimmick type match now.
And he has to do it with somebody that is not of the caliber of Brian Danielson. He has to do it
Yes,
with
That
somebody
I agree
whereas
with. I agree
he
with
pulls
that
them up.
because I Brian Danielson is one of the greatest ever. He's gonna have a great match with a paper bag. Now I do agree with that. In order to beat the in ring allegations, as Lyric was saying, we're gonna have to see somebody that is regular. Let's see a good match with somebody that is a little more average.
right. Just a little bit more average, but yeah, that's all he needed. I just gotta see one more. Like this one, I was just like, okay, he kind of beating it. I gotta see one more though. I just like give him like a opponent like Daniel Garcia. I just want to see
That's my man. That's my
it.
man.
Daniel Garcia. Like I just gotta
I
see
want to
it.
see that for different reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, like let me see it against Daniel Garcia. Let me see if you can.
Ashley has just been, and Garcia's just dancing
And
amok
I
right
really
here.
do. I I really do think he can. But I gotta be honest, I think that he worked better as a tag team with Hobbs. I really do. Um, but I appreciated this match for what it was. There wasn't really a way for it to be bad. You were not gonna have a bad match with Brian Danielson in a strap match, in a no DQ, It was a little bit disappointing, I guess, that he didn't go over. I understand why, obviously, but it just again kind of puts us in a position where he already cut the promo where he's like, I have to overcome. Da, da, da. Okay, what are you gonna do next? Because now you keep taking all these L's and you keep having great matches but not getting over the hump. But you already said that, So what's the next step for you?
Right.
So I'm a little bit worried about him character wise, but it was a fantastic match.
And then, but the encounter that kind of scared me was Ricky Steamboat because he fell, and I was like, oh Lord, no, are you okay? He was a little slow to get up. He scared me for a little bit, and then of course we had Big Ben, not Big, yeah,
Bill
in the side. Big Bill, I said Big Ben, Big Bill. He was in the sideline, and he had his little encounter with Brian Danielson and also Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat still got them chops, as you can see. Those chops haven't left. He did a perfect chop, in my opinion. I was like, he's 70 years old. He still know how to chop. I know that's right. And he was like, I can't do nothing else, but I know how to do that.
Exactly. Look, man, he never said that the knees were okay, but he can hit somebody. And I appreciate that. That's all you need, right. Really. At that age.
Yeah.
What else you want?
So anything. So and then of course after that match we had the open weight, the New Japan Strong open weight championship. It was Eddie Kingston, also pure champion, ROH pure champion Shibata. It's great to see Shibata always, and they was wrestling against the Black Bull comeback, which was Claudio and Yuta. And like I've been trying to tell everybody, Claudio has been abusing Yuta since Yuta been in BCC. I've been saying it. He's been abusing him. He don't like him like that. He don't love him. He's just one of them young ones that's gonna take the fall. And Claudio did the promo on Collision where he just abusing him. Like he knows how to do this. Just
that was crazy.
He just kept
was watching that promo. I was like, blink twice, Yuta. We could get you out of here.
Poor Yuta getting abused. Eddie Kingston and the Shibata slapped the fuck out of Yuta. Like he put him to sleep. Eddie Kingston was Eddie Kingston. His whole focus was Claudio. BCC ended up taking a win, unfortunately, and Eddie Kingston took a loss. But Eddie Kingston probably do not care as long as he was able to beat up Claudio. That's all that mattered to him. But in this match, Claudio beat his ass the most, unfortunately, this time.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I respect about Eddie Kingston is the dedication to the hater lifestyle. Yes. I aspire to be that committed, to taking out the ops. So I really appreciate, that Eddie Kingston, whatever's going on, it don't matter. He gonna beat Claudio. And
right.
As you kind of said, that didn't necessarily go his way this time. But I think it's great to see them interact. I think that eventually Eddie should take the ROH belt off of Claudio. And I feel like if we're not really building to that, it's a really big missed opportunity. But yeah, Shibata is one of my favorite wrestlers ever. And he's one of the very few people in wrestling that you just watch and you're like, hey, you could really beat everybody if you wanted to. Like, you could beat everybody up. And that came across in this, just the aura, because you're right, because he just messed up Yuta. That is for sure. But then again, so do the BCC every week. So.
Right. Every time I see Shibata in the ring, I'm like, bro, we almost lost him. Like, we literally almost lost him. And God said, no. He here for a reason. He beat it. So it's just like, it's amazing to see Shibata. He still has it. He never lost it. And he still looks good for his age, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree with you. I feel like Eddie Kingston will end up taking that belt off of Claudio. It's only a matter of time. The next ROH pay-per-view is in December. I believe that's what they said. It's either November or December. Correct me in the comments, if I'm wrong. I think it is in December.
Yeah, you're right. It's final battle. You're right.
Okay. I was like, it's either one of them. It's November or December. They did announce it that ROH was going to have another pay-per-view. So Claudio's going to end up coming off that belt. It's just a matter of time of who. If it's not Eddie Kingston, as far as ROH, maybe Dalton Castle. Maybe.
That's my vote. That's my vote.
I love Dalton Castle. Maybe. I don't know. But then after that match, we had another great match. It was the cleaner, Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita. This match scared the hell out of me, especially Kenny Omega taking these New Japan bumps that he did.
Oh my God, the one at the beginning, he just got dropped on his neck. Oh my God. I sure enough.
The way that he put his arm out in time.
And you know what? That's on me for doubting. It was after the Osprey, the Osprey bump that everybody was like, oh, he should have been doing that. And I realized, and he said, I have no business criticizing. I am not built like that. I am not, GOAT status. Because he was able to put his arm out. Now that doesn't mean the rest of y'all should be trying it, because most of you are not him, But I'm not gonna tell the GOAT how to do GOAT things. That's for sure. He
just he is so good that he knows when to pull it out in time, so it looks real. Like it looks like.
And then the leg twitches after.
Right, he does it so well, because when somebody in the timeline have to show it in slow motion, you can see like his shoulder is out, but still, I'm just.
But you watch it in real time, and you're like, they killed Kenny.
Right, I get so scared, and I'm just like, oh, but then you see it, I'm like, damn, he is really that good, because one wrong move that could go so wrong. Go so wrong. It was great. I was surprised, but Kenny Omega's in his selfless era. Oh yeah, the moonsault off the turnbuckle. He did
the fact that he can do that off at this age is just, it. I won't get started on my Kenny Omega stuff because I'll never stop, but that's that's one of my favorite wrestlers ever. And, to your point, like, yeah, he in the selfless era because, period. He in the selfless era, but I don't love that, I think Takeshita is absolutely the future, I've loved Takeshita since the minute he stepped on that TV, and he is absolutely him. With that being said, I don't think we should keep having Kenny lose all these big matches, because I don't know. I'm just somebody that, like, I don't think the aura will ever truly go away because you are that good and like that well respected. But I don't know. Like, I think you deserve a little bit more. And I think loss after loss, I'm like, all right, come on,
Yeah. It just shows how they are though. Like Kenny, how his mind is for the business, it's for the greater good, for the storyline. He's like I said, he's selfless. He had all the titles in 2021. So it's just like I don't have to win. I'm doing this for the storyline, what we have in store. So right now we just taking this L. I was like, he took this L. The DDT tribute gear that he had on the green. I said the green tights, Kenny. Oh my god. Green trunks,
Throwback.
Kenny. The green trunks, Kenny was nothing to play with. So great little callback for him. Don Callis involvement per usual. You know, he tried to stab him again. Takushka almost stabbed him. Now the ref saw the weapon and he took it from him. And I'm like, where is that? Do your job.
No DQ. You didn't use it.
Look. I mean, I don't know. What I appreciated about this match, I know we talk about like in the last Ospreay match, people were talking about, you know, the amount of interference and like maybe it's too much and like took away a little bit. I felt like this was the right amount of interference, and I felt like Don Callis had more of a place in this story, you know, to get a little bit involved, you know. But I didn't think it took away from anything at all. I'll tell you what, that Takeshita line looked vicious, you know, and Kenny absolutely sold for it. I had a fantastic time watching this match. I think their styles really complement each other very well. You know, they wrestle similarly enough that you're like, all right, we could kind of go bar for bar if we wanted to, but there's still those distinctions, you know, that make it such an interesting dynamic. Yeah, this was the one I was most looking forward to, and it did not disappoint.
It didn't disappoint at all. And then shout out to Nakamura. He tweeted, take, because apparently he was watching. Of course, a lot of them be watching. They watch each other's shit. So shout out to Takushka, the Soup King, the Cinnabon guy. Taking the win on that. It looks like that story may be far from over. It may be ending. Maybe Russell Dream. Who knows? We don't know. So moving on. After that, of course, it was the 8-man tag. Bullet Club Gold versus Young Bucks and FTR. Now, given with everything that was going on, the tension between FTR and Young Bucks, it showed in this match. It was getting weird at first. It was getting a little bit weird. Like, they wasn't really on the court. I don't know if it was part of the story. I don't know if it had anything to do with the extraness that's going on. And of course, the crowd, for some reason, they just didn't receive Young Bucks well. Like, they act like Young Bucks is the one that made the decision or something. It was crazy.
But you know what's so funny to me? Like, they loved Kenny Omega. And then the Bucks step out here and they're like, not you. And so I was sitting there, I was like, wait, are you dedicated to, you know, the craft of hating? Or are we picking and choosing? Because that's when I start to lose respect. I'm like, come on. If you mean it, then you mean it. You know, but they was eating Kenny up.
And then they cheered Adam Page. Adam Page is the one that did the worst insults to him to his face. And y'all cheering Adam Page, but y'all doing Young Bucks. I guess because Young Bucks is like, I guess they just like, it's Young Bucks. They look like they weak. They look like they are the assholes. Like I said today, I'm like, it's like y'all want them to be bad people for some reason, and they're not. So you're mad because they not bad people.
And I think people have a harder time distinguishing them from their characters. You know?
Yeah.
I think that they just, for whatever reason, people always, you know, just assume that because they're being arrogant on TV and they're being, you know, I'm like, that's the one thing that people cannot seem to disconnect. And I really don't get it. And it was even funnier watching this match because they'd be like, oh, boo, we can't stand the Young Bucks. And then they do a cool flip and they'd be like, oh my God, that was amazing. I'm like, what do you mean? You know, make up your mind.
They end up cheering them. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't you think it's kind of crazy? I thought kayfabe was dead, but you can't take Young Bucks kayfabe out of their personal, like, individualism.
Exactly.
It's crazy. Like, y'all picking and choosing who kayfabe resonates with.
They are, and you know what? They are extra, but they're extra on TV. I think it's important and we be saying this on our podcast, we don't know these people, you know? Everybody's sitting up here, you know, taking sides in all these debates, whatever. We don't work there and we don't know these people. All we see is what we see on TV, but that does not really correlate, you know, to who these people are as people. And I feel like had more people taken that into account with that other man, that maybe we wouldn't have been in some of these positions. But back to the match. Yeah, I thought it was super fun. I mean, I thought it was super cool to see the Young Bucks and FTR team together. I was a little hesitant when they first, you know, announced it. I was like, y'all just what? But it was so cool to see those, you know, offensive styles, you know, kind of come together. It was cool when you saw them finishing each other's moves. You know, the 4-way sharpshooter. I was sure enough, you know, I was tuned in. I loved it. And I think Bullet Club Gold has been the backbone of Collision. So it was good to see them get a win. What'd you think?
Yes. I enjoyed this match. I am a fan of Jay White, Bullet Club Gold. What he did with Bullet Club Gold is amazing. And of course, I am a fan of Young Bucks. I can't admit that FTR can't wrestle. I don't like them. They do too much to me.
I'm right there with you.
If Dax Bald and you know, Cash Morant knew how to stop engaging in some of the shit that they be saying and encouraging Cornette, knowing that Cornette is probably the most racist, homophobic, transphobic person. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the small stuff that they be doing. I'm just like, I don't really like y'all. Y'all did rocking this man. And Bret Hart probably don't like y'all. He just like, oh, y'all. Okay, thank you, but I don't really like y'all like that.
It's not like that. It's not like that. And you know what? I feel like what's been lost in all of this is that Hair still might go to jail. You know, we have the belts on FTR as if we know what's going to happen with this case. You know, I just think that that's fascinating. You know, and that they're still coming across and being like, oh yeah, we baby faces. So I'm like, okay, so we can separate kayfabe here, but as soon as the Bucks step out, it's, you know.
Exactly. Thank you. Y'all follow Danny. Follow her on Twitter. Yeah, that's right.
Please.
That's what I've been saying.
We right there.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. I'm like, y'all pick and choose who y'all want to. And they better drop it to Aussie Open, because that's who I want to see next as the tag champions. I love me some Aussie Open. Oi.
Always.
I love them. Shout out to the Ass Boys. I know Billy Gunn.
You know what? Look, I'm not gonna say shout out to them because I'll say this. I respect the progress that they have made. You know, I also think at the same time, and I think this gimmick has been good for them. I also think at the same time they still leave a little bit to be desired. I think that the caliber of everybody else in that match, like, all right, you know, maybe you're not there yet. And I think there were moments in which that showed. But I think that the other 6 were so talented that it was kind of okay, you know. So no disrespect, no shade. I know they've been doing this a lot less time, you know, and they made amazing progress. But I think Bullet Club Gold overall is just so entertaining, you know, every time that they're on screen that I'm like, you know what, I'll let it go. I'll let it slide.
Yeah, because we know in-ring wise we depend on Juice and Jay White. As to piggyback what you said, because the most in-ring time when it came to Bullet Club Gold was Jay White and Juice Robinson. Austin, of course, the other two, they had their encounters, but it wasn't their long. Like, they was able to do what they're good at, but they didn't keep them there too long because they still working on it. They still progressing. They're not there yet. So, but it was still a great match overall. It was very entertaining. The crowd was into it. They was, you know, being fickle towards Young Bucks. They was booing them, and then they ended up cheering them and stuff like that. FTR. They did good or whatever. I hate getting them their credit, but they do good. I try not to be as biased when it comes to them, but they're being weird. Per usual. It was giving weird.
Always.
Always. So moving on to the main event of the All Out AEW International Championship, champion Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley. The whole tunnel walkout was fire. Best friends with Orange, and then you had BCC with John Moxley. That was great. Count your days, Claudio, because Cat Stanlander might beat your ass one day. It was just amazing. Yes, it was amazing. They walked out. This is Orange Cassidy's first pay-per-view. This was his moment. We've always talked about him. He was my wrestler of the year. 32 title defenses. He was bleeding like he never bled before. It was his last in-ring storytelling to this championship. Orange Cassidy has been my favorite in-ring storyteller of this year. John Moxley was showing like, I'm taking it easy on you, boy, before I turned up.
Yeah, at the end when he was saying that prayer, he said,
yes,
for what I'm finna do. I said, oh, okay. We're going there. But no, I'm with you. This match was out of everything on the whole night, it had me the most on the edge of my seat because I bought every single near fall. I was sitting there, I was like, because I had a feeling, as we all kind of did, that John Moxley was going to take this, we were going to move on. But then when I was sitting there, I was like, come on, Orange, you could do it. Please get up. I was fully invested in this like I was 12 again, And so it was just really cool to have that feeling back because how often do you get that really, genuinely in wrestling? And it felt like such a big deal. This fight felt like it felt massive. It felt this title mattered. This was the fight of their lives. And so it was just, I loved it. And you're right, that blood was everywhere.
It was everywhere. It was just poetic. You had the two workhorses AEW relies on the most, Orange Cassidy and John Moxley, and they're going head to head. Like I've been saying, Orange Cassidy has made this title very prestige. He did an amazing job. We're proud of him. I'm proud of him. To see, from 2019 where people was like, what the fuck, who is this? To loving him. And we have a new international champion, which is John Moxley, which I knew what was going to happen. We all knew that was going to happen. Orange Cassidy does deserve this break if he has one. We enjoyed this reign from him. The video clip of all his reigns, it was definitely not some easy opponents that he faced. Like he said, the bad guy heavier as, each match, but he loves his championship. And he deserved that ovation from the crowd after the match ended.
Absolutely.
He had the ovation. And then, of course, after that, it was recorded from fans that Best Friends came out and they hugged him and stuff like that. He deserved that. And you can tell when the match started, you can see the emotions in his eyes when people was chanting his name. He had tears in his eyes.
Even before it started.
Yes. Yep. Like, he was very, like, in the moment. Like, he didn't even move. He just wanted to just simmer in, take it all in, because he deserved it. And when he took the shades off and you can see the tears in his eyes, and you can see Moxley being proud that this is about to happen, and that camera shot of his hand bandage and his Moxley across from him, that is so fire to me. I was just respect to Orange Cassidy. Fuck you, Jim Cornette, because he was saying some hateful shit. He was saying the most hateful shit towards Orange Cassidy. It made no sense just because he didn't understand the character and didn't understand him, just saying he should die and all this other bullshit that he was saying just because his gimmick he don't understand. So shout out to Orange Cassidy, making a name for himself.
Period.
Best wrestler of the year. Wrestler of the year.
I'm not even finna argue with you because you're right. He's made this title. He's defended it week after week. He's been putting in the work. And so, nothing for respect for him. Yeah, go ahead, go to a beach somewhere, take Darby with you because both y'all been working, So we ain't got to see y'all for a little bit, enjoy a little time off. And I'm excited to see what Moxley's reign's going to look like. Because, he loves to go to them indie shows. He loves to, compete actually internationally. And so I'm really excited to see this title be defended in other promotions, to see it really go around the world so it has more of that, international feel.
Very much so. And I like when Moxley won the belt and they was walking out, Yuta had his belt and was looking at it.
Now Yuta know good and damn well that he got some steps to take before any type of belt, because the way Claudio be doing you, ain't no way you ready to be no champion yet. But I saw that too. I was like, all right, go ahead, give that back.
Yeah, just it's crazy. So I am interested to see Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley he don't take no days off. So he probably had this, I'm gonna do this, and this, and this, and this, and this. So they probably already had it set up. Welcome Jon Moxley being the international champion. He done had the world championship. Now he has the All Atlantic champion, and he had the tag championship. Well, I'm trying to.
Did
he was paired up? Wait, when he was paired up with no, he was. They was just fighting for it. Did he have it?
I don't think they won.
Yeah, they didn't win that. Did they win? Graham, look that up. Did they win that?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Did Jon Moxley have the AEW Tag Championship at one point when he was?
Oh no.
No, okay.
No, Moxley isn't the tag champ. No.
I think we made that one up, but he was in.
But it's obviously he's gonna be. Yeah. It's obviously he's gonna be the first AEW Triple Crown one of these days.
And he should be. He's stepped up in every sense. And so I'm excited to see him do another title reign. Nothing but respect for Orange Cassidy. Really interested to see where he fits on the card when he comes back. Because that's somebody in the chat kind of mentioned, like, I definitely think at this point, like, you're ready to be elevated. You're ready to be, clearly you're ready to main event. I mean, you just did, and so I'm ready to see you look for real. And so I'm really interested to see, all right, go ahead, take your time off. You more than deserve it. And then what comes next for you,
Yeah, me who said I think Kenny will be the first. That's right, because Kenny has had the tag. Yeah. He just have to get the AEW championship, the international, and the TNT.
Yeah. But he ain't got no business being TNT champion, so we might wow.
Yeah, so kudos to that main event. So now let's get into women business. Play the clip, Graham. He knows the clip.
This is what you need to do. You need to stay out of women business.
All the men in the chat, y'all know the rules. Be quiet. Raise your hand if you got something to say. Graham too. Y'all raise your hand, okay? So
all men should stay out of women business because that's women business.
Yeah. All men should stay out of women business. So women business. I didn't, like I said, it was the pre-show. We had the ROH, the trios match when we had the ROH women's champion involved, which it was Athena, and then you had Mercedes and Diamante. You also had them versus Sheeta, Willow, and Sky Blue. It was great trios match. Like we've been saying, we want more women on the card. That pre-shows keep proving why we need more than one on the card. The encounter with Sheeta and Athena had the crowd going crazy. The Rocket House, that was my song right there.
I am all for it. I think that match would be amazing, and I think both of them need it a little bit. They need that sort of next level storyline and next level competitor, and so I'm real excited to see. Hopefully that plays out, I think you might be frozen. So we'll just, as we wait, I'll continue to talk. I think that Sheeta, I was disappointed when they took the belt off her. I think generally she's just a lot better than people have given her credit for. I would have loved to see a longer title reign from her, especially because I don't think Saraya is there. Oh, hey y'all. Not sure what's going on with Keeks, but it's okay. I'll be your guest host for a second. But,
What's happening?
Hey.
She's back, but just a little technical difficulty there.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
okay.
Boom.
Was it mine? Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. That was probably on my end. Okay, we back.
I was trying not to be like.
But your thoughts
like
on
you for a
the
second.
trios
I said,
match?
Okay, my thoughts on the trios. Okay, so yeah, so like I said, the encounter between Sheeta and Athena set the crowd on fire. We definitely need to see that later. We got to see that, the Athena versus Sheeta. They didn't get to the counter like we wanted to see it because the outside interference, but I think they was just kind of teasing it that it's possibly going to happen. What did you think? Did you already give your take? I missed it.
Yeah, a little bit. But so yeah, I was just saying, I think Athena and Sheeta absolutely want that. I think they both kind of need that, as far as next level competition and next level storyline. So really excited for that. I mean, I'm always finna root for Willow, so it was good to see her, participate in this. And Sky Blue, I feel like we've been able to see her progress week to week. I actually really like watching her wrestle now because I'm like, you can see her get better in real time, And
Yes.
so it was cool for her to have her moment in Chicago, Yeah, I overall, I thought this match was great. Like you said, I think it definitely showed the point that we've all been making, that you have very talented women on your roster and you need to find time for them.
Yes, you got to find time for them. Shout out to Diamante and Mercedes Martinez. They are also really well in the ring. Willow was really good. It was just a great dynamic, a great matches between all of them. All those ladies, they did deliver great pre-show. And of course, I did like the whole with Billy Starks and Athena. Athena was just like, this annoying minion of mine, but she's with me, so oh well. Like, oh well. She was just looking at it like, oh my God.
It happens.
And then of course, the main event, I mean not the main event, but on the main card, you have for the TBS Women's Championship, which was Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho. Those two, they did deliver great. I was expecting a great match out of these two. They have great chemistry. They had a great match on Rampage, and they also had a great match when they was doing the Owen Hart tournament when they had to face off against each other. So I knew that they was going to deliver. And of course, Ruby Soho had the AEW Women's Champion ringside, Miss Saraya. She got involved a little bit, the Outcast. It's a story within them as well. We complain, people complain about give some story to the women, and it is a story between Outcasts so far. Tony Storm ended up coming out from underneath the ring and taking the spray paint from Ruby Soho, causing a distraction, and Chris Statlander ended up retaining the championship, and Tony Storm is just laughing. So we're seeing a split happening, a story within Outcast. Saray's the only one on Outcast with the gold right now. So we're seeing something with them. What did you think of this match between Chris Statlander and also Ruby Soho?
I loved it. I thought it was the best women's match that we've had in a long time, And to your point, like I always believed it was going to be a really good match. But what I loved most about this is I think Statlander, since she's won the belt, has kind of felt like she hasn't really had much to do, And so I think this match helped to cement her again as, an elite level performer, as a star, because that's what she came across as, with the belt and everything. So I, like you said, I think they had great chemistry. I loved this match. I thought it was very well paced. Because I think a lot of times, the women's matches, there will be one of them and it will be very short, and you're not fully given the time that you need to tell your story. And I definitely felt like we were able to do that there. Can I real quick, I don't know what Jim Ross was on during this match, but he was saying some real slick stuff. He was saying some real slick stuff about Chris Statlander
Yes.
And that ain't gonna fly. Because sure enough, I was sitting there, me and my sisters were sitting there, and we were like, "There's no way he just said that about that woman." Talking about,
And you
yeah,
notice they took him off after that match because he was really getting very derogatory for no reason.
For no reason. And look, no shade. I understand that you were, legendary in this business, but it is 2023, and some of the stuff that you are saying on commentary is unacceptable. And particularly during the women's matches. This is not the first time that he's been mad weird to some of the women on this roster. And if we're going to start being, being the company that they say they want to start being the company that they are, I say I don't work there. But you want to live what you're saying that you are, like, you cannot keep letting that happen. Because sure enough, he was dogging Chris Statlander for no reason, as if she ain't, everything and a half. So I just want it to be known that we did peep that, and that did not slide
at all. Jim Ross, he is the icon with commentary. He's the reason why sports commentary changed their dynamic and how they deliver and call sports and things like that. But it is really time for Jim Ross to hang it up. He has nothing to prove. He's out of touch with modern day wrestling. He's a straight shooter, but it's okay to evolve with your straight shootingness. Like, you could be a straight shooter, but you also have to evolve into the modern day wrestling, and you have to understand that things are not how it used to be, and it's not going to go back to how it used to be. We're evolving. That comes with time. You have to accept that. And he's out of touch with it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what we've started saying is just, respectfully, especially to some of the, legends in this business, be like, you know what? Thank you for your service. I think you should spend more time with your family.
Yeah.
So Jim Ross, I think you should spend more time with your family.
Yeah, and he's cancer free and stuff like that. Just go to your Oklahoma Sooners game. Go to your Sooners game. Enjoy retirement. Wrestling's gonna always be here. Just do a podcast or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different things. You don't have to. Or if you're gonna be hired by, just be backstage helping or something. Do something. We don't have to hear your voice anymore. Or just
particularly do not on the women's matches,
right? Or he can do the interviews like he's been doing. Do that.
Yeah, do the sit downs. Do the sit downs.
Yeah, just do the sit downs. Yeah, you're good at that. Okay.
Yeah, so, we can edit you.
Yeah. He already got. Oh, okay. Well, I ain't know. Well, okay. Thank you, Trevor. I ain't know he already had one. So the women business of the week goes to, of course, the Miss TBS Women's Champion is Miss Chris Statlander. Like I said, she's been the queen of Collision as of lately. She's always on Collision. She has great matches on Collision. And she's solidifying this TBS title. It's been, people argue that one, she was just holding it and having these squash matches, and now you have Chris Statlander. She's actually having great matches, great, reigns and things like that. Bring back Jade. Yes, I would like to see Jade come back, but she looked like she's into what she's doing right now. So
yeah, she's loving her life. Yeah,
she's loving, and I want to see her better in the ring. I let her slide her whole reign. I let it slide, but I got to see better in ring wise with Jade. No more talk. No more of this. I need to see you go for real. Like, you gotta go. You gotta go now. If we talking about having for the AEW Women's Championship, we gotta see her go now. I gotta see her go. So let's move on. Of course, what happened Saturday afternoon. It shocked a lot of people. I was at the movies with my kids, and I didn't know until I got out and I seen the news. AEW terminated Phil Brooks. Tony Khan was on Collision. He let it be known it was my decision. He felt threatened, and it was time for him to go. So I've been saying it needed to happen. I'm not gonna sit up here and shit on this man because I do understand him. I do understand where he be coming from, but what he has to understand when it comes to wrestling, you either have to get in line or you're going to lose. You're going to fall out of line. Either way. And like I've always said with Phil, his issue was he could never admit that he wanted to be the canary that Vince, he wanted to be. He always faced that. Like, I wanted to be that guy that you can rely, like you call me on, like, this is my guy, this is my favorite. But Vince was just like, you not my favorite, but you my moneymaker. And he could never just deal with that. So, coming to AEW, and he had this mindset because, Tony Khan was giving him that treatment because he was a fan instead of his boss at first. I'm a fan of CM Punk. So being that he was a fan of CM Punk, he let CM Punk get away, and he's just like, and that's when Phil probably had in his mind that I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to say what I want because at the end of the day, he's not going to get rid of me. He's scared of me, and he's a fan of me. Just with Tony Khan for once, now finally just put his big draws on and just stand firm on his decisions. He terminated AEW. Jack Perry is suspended indefinitely. So I don't know how long that will be. And indefinitely, it means also non-paying. So he is suspended indefinitely. He definitely never been offered drugs as a kid, confirmed. I don't if you new here to the chat, we don't be doing that in my chat now, okay? We don't be weird now, okay? We don't do that. So, but yeah, so he just finally stands firm on his boss, like, I got to make some decisions. He finally understanding that people is not going to like your decisions, but you got to get them to respect what you cannot be a boss and expect everybody to like you. Somebody's not going to like you. That just comes with the job, okay? As long as they respect you and they're able to tolerate you to come to work, that's all that fucking matters, because people got families to feed, people got money to make. And it was getting to the point in AEW, it was just too much shit happening. It was too much. Mm-hmm. And this termination, it felt like a dark cloud just removed from AEW, and it showed in all out. Like, the energy was different. We got
exactly.
It felt like if you was here since day one, it just felt like AEW for what it stood for is back.
Mm-hmm. And I think,
what did you think of the termination?
Look, I'm gonna be totally honest. I'm Elite Gang down horrendous. Like, those are some of my favorite performers ever. But with that being said, I really do love CM Punk. I think he's the best talker, of this generation of wrestling. And I was excited, to see his run, to see his second run after injury. Even after the Brawl Out, I was like, again, I don't know these people. I'm not sure what happened, but, whatever, we move. But when you're constantly being, brought up in the news cycles as, having beef with this person, or this person has to leave Collision, or now, this, that, and a third, like, sometimes if you walk around smelling something a whole day, it might be you that smells. And I just think we got to a point where it's like, okay, we can't act like every single interaction is somebody else's fault. At some point, we got to be a little bit for real. And like you said, take a look in the mirror, realize, okay, like, you're Tony Khan, you are the boss. You're giving one wrestler so much power. And he was running and dominating the news cycles. You just ran the biggest show, in the history of wrestling. And what's everybody talking about? CM Punk and his backstage antics. And so, I do think it gets to a point where you're like letting one person overshadow all of the other things that you're doing, love him or hate him on TV, backstage, it just felt like a ticking time bomb a little bit. And I think that showed in last night's show. Everybody was definitely on 10 performance-wise. Like, everybody was on their absolute best. And you know how great it was as a fan to wake up this morning and just be like, wow, that was a great pay-per-view. We ain't got to talk about, there's no backstage fights. public. There's no this person threatening to quit. There's no that person threatening to quit. And it's just like, at some point, like I said, you either love CM Punk, you hate CM Punk. Personally, I loved him. I would have loved for this to work out, but it didn't. And we need to be so for real about the situation and the circumstances. If you keep tracking it back to, who the common denominator was, unfortunately, it was him. So I wish him all the best. Hopefully he can spend more time with his family, but I do think it was absolutely time for AEW to move on without him. And what do you think, just real quick, about those people who are talking about, like, what's AEW finna do without him? What's your take on that?
AEW was doing great before him, and they are going to do great without him. Okay. And to answer to Trevor Hambro, he did that in 2019, 2020, and also a little bit of 2021. Example, when Cody Rhodes got up there talking about his baby is the reason why racism is over. Only day ones. No, we was there in the trenches when Tony wasn't running the creative. It was Cody Rhodes. So that shit still lingers in his mind. Like, when I allow somebody to do something, they started doing some crazy ass shit. So that's not going to happen no time soon unless he's really fully trusts that person. Because the last time he trusts somebody, the man wife got up there talking about who you talking to, heifer. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So...
And look, for me, really the final straw was, if you have a problem with the head of talent relations, what are we supposed to do with that? If that's who you're kicking out of, of quote unquote your show, you need to be of the realization that it is our show. It is. And look, the whole Jack Perry situation, like, I'm with you. You got free Jack Perry. Because look, if that's really what happened with CM Punk was like, I don't want you using real glass. Ooh, my bad. But if that's the real situation where CM Punk was like, I don't want you using real glass, you are not the boss, And if the boss said it was okay, and then people talking about, oh, well, Jack Perry shouldn't have made that comment on TV. Yeah, but you still can't hit people. And CM Punk is never able to do things in moderation. Everything he does is on 10 all the time. And we just need a little bit more peace.
Right. The N in the H. A go-go was Cody Rhodes' idea. See, some of y'all gotta understand that some of these people that were signed to AEW, some of them was Cody Rhodes' idea. It wasn't no Tony Khan idea. It was Cody Rhodes. Okay, so at least he was able to do something on All In. Okay, some shit you could tell was Tony Khan's idea, and some shit that is still there that was Cody Rhodes' idea is still there. Did Jack Perry make the comment after the backstage altercation? Which one?
And then crushing
real glass,
crushing the
abdomen.
abdomen.
Go cry me a river.
Okay, let me break down what's going on, y'all. Okay, so the glass spot, it was approved on Dynamite. Tony Khan approved it on Dynamite for him to do it on Collision. Phil went behind Tony Khan and told Jungle Boy, no, we don't do that here at Collision. We don't do that in this show. You can do that shit on Dynamite. So that's why he did that. The man override what the boss said and said, we don't do this here on my show. We don't do this here on Collision. So, yeah, you can't do that. That's probably was like this had to happen. Okay, so this had to happen. This had to happen for Tony Khan to finally be a boss. And also you can see now the talent is like, oh shit, because they already know that they don't have no chance at WWE. They too small. They too short. You know what I'm saying? They have they don't have no fathers that's legends or nothing like that. They have no chance. Where they gonna go to Impact?
So you better act right.
Where they gonna go to NWA? You know what I'm saying? So
have fun. So you better act right, because now we starting to move different, and at a certain point, CM Punk became a legal liability, because it's like, all right, how many people can you allegedly get involved in an altercation with, before you're like allegedly, a threat to the workplace, So I think that, like you said, like it does very much feel like a big exhale of like, all right, now we can, be normal. Like, can we just get back to being normal? Like, let's just have good pay-per-views and good week-to-week TV and less backstage. I don't want to know who don't like each other. I don't care.
I don't care.
Just put on
Stop
a good
giving the
show.
shit to dirt sheets. Stop telling your business to dirt sheets. Stop trying to clear yourself of being a good person. He probably said that and I mean, like, all right, from now on, y'all better not send a motherfucking thing to no Fightful. We don't want to hear it. Sean Ross, you cool with him? Don't tell him nothing else. I know if you tell him, I get rid of you too. So he's learning. Some things have to happen for you to learn. We learn naturally by life experiences. So some things he had to learn. He had to learn on his own. Sometimes it's not about what somebody said to you or what's some advice. Sometimes you have to experience it to know fully better. Like, okay, this is why. It's with kids. They'll be like, oh, mommy, I see why you told me not to do this and this and this. So whoever's, okay, I'll use Jeff Jarrett. Okay, Jeff Jarrett, I see why you said not to do this and this and this and this now. So it's all a learning experience, and he's learning. It's 4 years. It's successful. He's done a stadium show. All of that is successful. So,
and I think, just real quick, just to kind of tie it up, I'm excited to see now because we have so much more. Now there's so much more creative possibility in Collision. Because there was a long list of people that CM Punk, had problems with, did not want to participate with, didn't want on his show. So now we can really start to book another 2-hour quality show that can involve the vast majority of the roster, So I'm excited to see, where that sort of gap gets filled even creatively, and so thank you for your service, CM Punk. Bye.
Right, bye. I didn't want him there in the first place. Y'all could go back to my show. I did not want him there. I knew things was gonna go bad. People love to replay that CM Punk promo that he did against Triple H, but they never want to play the entire thing what Triple H said to him because that shit resonates. The thing with wrestlers have to understand, because I've been a wrestling fan for a long time since the Attitude Era in WCW. You have to fall in line some type of way, and you have to understand your purpose and your place. I'm gonna use Triple H for an example. The way he played the game, his intentions was already to be the richest. I want to be rich. I want to be rich in this business. So what he do, he had to break. He cheated on, did what he did, got with the boss daughter, got kids with her, married her. Now he is part of the office. That was his initial end game anyway. Just like you have The Rock. I'll use The Rock for an example. The Rock knew his place. The Rock knew he wasn't meant to be there. And if it wasn't for Stone Cold, he wouldn't have been the top guy. The Rock was going to use wrestling as a stepping stone to get where he needed to go. The problem is with CM Punk, he wanted things to be. Trevor, you about to get kicked out of my comments now. You about to get kicked out. We don't speak bad about Jericho on my show. Y'all already know that. So cute now before you get blocked up on her. But also but I want to your place. Know your place. And with CM Punk, the only thing it was with him, he was valid on most stuff he was saying. But the issue that he had was you cannot be saying this while also doing the same thing that they were doing. He was becoming the people. He was becoming the people that he hated, and he never wanted to admit that. Like, you talk about certain
and what did Hangman say?
Right. You're talking about people being a canary, but you are too. You're doing the same thing. The only difference is you throwing your rocks and you hiding your hands prior to. You can see Triple H coming. You can see Undertaker. Undertaker done told him, you blase, blase, blase. He ended up losing the championship because he stood up to the top guys. So sometimes you have to know when to fall in place and know your place. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you do a wrestling.
And you know what? You're right. He wanted to politic. Well, I'm gonna say, I think he wanted to politic. He wanted to be in charge. All this backstage, but he still wanted to be loved. He still, to your point, he still wanted the fanfare. He still wanted to come across as the good guy, but when it starts to come out, I mean, it's 2023. When other things start to come out, about, okay, maybe this situation wasn't exactly the way he was presenting it, like, you got to be so for real. And he, I think, got to the point where he thought he was bigger than the promotion. He thought he was bigger than, any alleged boss. He thought he was, and I think it's an important message, not just to him, but like you said, to the whole roster, like, all right, cool. Now we need to recenter, refocus. All of us have our role and have our place, and nobody is bigger than the overall goal that we're trying to achieve, which is, a great show and lots of money.
Right. But I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up going back to WWE. They business, like, Triple H is a businessman, but he probably not dumb enough to do that because he probably knows Triple H's motives. Like, Triple H is like, I'ma always get the last laugh on people that talk about me. He's doing it currently with Cody, and people don't see it. I'm like, he's getting his last laugh on him right now. Y'all just not seeing it. He don't forget that chair shot at all. He don't forget it. He don't forget the shots that y'all was throwing at him and his wife. He don't forget it. Like, the whole theme song is a diss. It's a diss to y'all. So,
and I think that CM Punk and Triple H is just another disaster waiting to happen if they link up again, because I think it's just, they are the same, but they don't see themselves in each other. But you're thinking the same way. You fiending for the last laugh, for the, for live Mike to say whatever you want, like. And so for as much as you like to act like you're different, like, you're very much the same. So him going back to WWE, to your point, would not surprise me. I think it would be another disaster, though. And, I think that maybe it's time that we all just move on.
Yeah, it's time to move on. I don't know if he has an NDA. I'm pretty sure Tony's lawyers are smart, so they probably added that to his termination notice. He was champion. He came, they are the company that brought Punk back. And unfortunately, the company that had to terminate him too, like, WWE did. So, but I mean, the way that they did it, it was messed up. But AW, they had to let him go. So it's probably one of the ones that Tony probably like, God damn, Vince was probably right about this guy. That it's just like, shit. He was right. I see now. I see why they handled him the way that they did. I see why, things was the way that they are. Not saying that CM Punk was wrong with some of the things that he has said, because it was true to some things that he was saying. It's just the point that he was becoming the people that he talked about. He was becoming the legends that tried to withhold his progress. Like, sometimes you got to be careful trying to break curses because you end up becoming them as well, like, in that process. So you always have to be careful when you want to be better. It could be better than your parents. You end up becoming your parents. We hear that saying all the time. So you just have to be careful of that. Sometimes take a step back or withdraw back. And even goes to Jack Perry, even though I'm going to say free Jack Perry, but the whole situation was ugly with itself. He's young, and of course, him being young, he's not going to take that the right way. You can't tell me if I got word from the boss that I could do it, and you coming in telling me this, blase. And to Punk's defense, Punk, Jack Perry chose to side between the whole Elite and Punk situation. So in Punk's mind, he's just like, you work for the ops. So you kind of doing this to shit on me. That's where his mind at, because I know that, because that's how I be. I get that.
That's what I'm saying. To me, that whole mentality in the workplace, like, you cannot be walking into work every day thinking that everybody is coming out to get you. And if that's where you're operating, if that's where you're operating in your professional setting, which is like, oh, okay, maybe this person is doing this because they like so-and-so. It's not supposed to be like that, And so CM Punk, for his whole career, like we said, like, he don't do things in moderation. He got beef with you. He going to have beef with you forever. It doesn't matter. Him and Colt Cabana going to take that forever, You don't let anything go. And as soon as if there's any type of relation between you and one of his ops, I get it. I do it too. But you can't be doing it at that level. and so publicly, and then leaking it to all these different, dirt sheets.
Right. We about to get ready to get up out of here. Before we do, Miss Danny, may you tell them who was your AEW All Out MVP?
Yeah, so my MVP was Bryan Danielson. I think that he filled a huge would have been gap in the show. He delivered a performance that only he can, especially knowing that he's still not 100%, and you can see him not really use his arm for a good part of that match. It scares me to think about what kind of situation we would have been in had he not, been able to be there, because I don't feel like CM Punk's void was missed in this match. He absolutely brought the star power. He brought he delivered everything that he needed to in this match for it to feel complete, for it to feel, and I think for the show to feel that way too. So Bryan Danielson, shout out to you, because I think you were the missing puzzle piece in this show.
Yes, very much so. My all-out MVP goes to Mr. Formal, now AEW International Champion, is Mr. Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy, it was his night. His first main event. He did a wonderful, wonderful job proving people that wrestlers like him are star worthy if you give them a chance. Definitely Wrestler of the Year for 2023. Freshly squeezed. He's done an amazing job. He's never missed at a pay-per-view. Two workhorses meets one. So I'm interested to see now where Orange Cassidy goes as far as AEW. I would like to see him the title, the championship. I don't care if it's transitional. I wouldn't mind seeing him get the belt. And they go from there, make the belt a little bit a workhorse belt. So I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. So Orange Cassidy, the all-out MVP of tonight. Before we get out of here, Miss Danny, tell the people where they can find you. Give any shout-outs if you need to. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so you can find me at Danny Livingston. The handle's on there. And y'all should check out, our brand new brand, Black Girl Wrestling. It's on Spotify. Also check out our website. We're very much just getting started. And my sisters and I are, all college students, so we just doing our best to just provide a little bit more inclusivity in this space. So, definitely support us if you can and want to.
Yes, so support our young queens. I'm all about supporting and also protecting our young Black queens that are in wrestling content. I didn't get a lot of that when I joined, and I'm breaking that tradition. I'm gonna stand firm. Y'all see me go hard for Lyric. Y'all gonna see me go hard for Danny. So make sure y'all support her. Yes, shout out to her. She's doing an amazing job too at Women's Wrestle Talk. I'm so proud of her. Support Black Girl Wrestling, support Miss Danny and her sisters. Hit the like button, subscribe, follow her, keep it cute with her. She's up and coming. We got to protect our young babies, okay? Y'all know the drill on here. Y'all be safe. Have a good night. Get my getaway music, Graham.
You've mentioned a couple names recently. Who were they?
Listen, man, they call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans,